Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy Blues, you are better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all those else that are listening, I want you to jump into the DeLorean with me. We're going to throw that son of a gun up to 88 miles an hour. We're going to jump back in time to what was kind of the before time and really the time coming out of social darkness together, this post-COVID aspect and being at the State House as a community was truly growing, and one that was actually multi-stated, one that was every aspect and truly accepting on every single level. This was a community that act after act after act after act came through, and I felt more and more like we were just hanging out in someone's basement, but it was an actual show. And it was that true beauty that was there. Now, this is a person that not only creates, not only can put a sonic spin on things, but can take art into another avenue as well and make sure the clothes that are on your back are rocking that same community. Make sure that that art can be passed to that next person. I want you all to put your hands together. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2, for we do not need any accidents. But mentally, I want you to put your hands together for a dear sonic sibling of mine, the incredible, the awesome, the absolutely phantasmagorical. That's right, I'm using the college words. Justin Arena is with us today. Welcome, Justin. How are you?
Thank you. That was quite the intro. I appreciate it. I'm doing fantastic. It is, I think it's getting up to 100 degrees today, and I spent in airport traffic through Boston, so I'm already pre-cooked for this meeting.
Ooh. There you go. Well, you're cooked, some of us are baked. It's a wonderful type of experience. A couple weeks ago, we interviewed an amazing island chef, and we were drooling upon ourselves. So any type of actual cooking aspect that can go on the show, we do appreciate it. But cooking has nothing to do with really the two types, or really we'll say the arts in which speak to your heart, that is truly based out of the community aspect of it. Before we get into the community aspect of it, let's break down the arts in particular. You are a performer, you are a creator. Why don't you tell people a little bit about, let's say, start first with the music.
So I have been a writer ever since I can remember. I mean, I wrote a lot as a child, and I always needed an outlet, a creative outlet. I went from all sorts of stuff in my childhood, and then I kind of landed when I was 15 on, I found, playing guitar, writing songs through a very complicated lore, but essentially I landed on, first started songwriting when I first started playing guitar. I kind of realized that writing could be an outlet that I could share with people instead of it being a private outlet, and that really is much more effective to me, is having something that I can share with people and connect with people and do something. I want to be doing something that can serve a purpose, right? And can contribute to like other people's lives instead of it being like a personal thing. I'm a very, very social, very open person, so it's like I want to be contributing. And when I figured out that like songwriting was something that I could so easily share and so easily use as a tool to connect people, I became instantly obsessed, and I think I'm on my 7th or 8th studio album coming out this year. It's also about to be the 10-year anniversary of my first record, November. So that's really exciting. I professionally play guitar and banjo and drums mostly at this time, and I'm a singer. So it's a lot of fun. Right now I'm in 7 bands, and it's very special.
How do you keep up?
7.
7?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
7.
Like,
It's a lot.
is everything on Zoom like this? Like, how do you meet? How do you talk? How do you interact with each other? Or is one band just 2 people? Like, give me the schedule, at least like a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's special. It's
Right.
it's not if it, let's just say if every single one of these bands practice a week, that I would be out of my mind. But
Whew.
fortunately, that's not the case.
Okay.
There's a band that I play guitar with sometimes on tour called Run Strike, and they're from Michigan.
All right.
And Red Strike's a phenomenal band. John Warren is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. Nick LaForge is amazing. They're the resident drummer of that band, and Micah is a sweetheart. They've been playing live bass on the tours because the primary bassist for Red Strike, Geller, can't travel so much because of work stuff in Michigan. So I've kind of become like this, guitar / synth player for hire there, and it's nice because if I'm going on a tour with them, I can just show up a few days before the tour and practice for 4 days, and then just jump out on the road instead of a weekly trip to Michigan.
Okay.
So you find ways to kind of make it streamlined and make it economy. Same thing with Blue Raspberry. I play in a band called Blue Raspberry. Bill Parker and Cecilia from New Haven, and Miles Bowen sometimes plays cajon in that band, and I'm the same way, where when it's convenient, it makes sense. When it's a bigger bill, I'll come down and play banjo, but we don't necessarily get together for practices every week, because they're in New Haven, Connecticut. I'm in Mass. So, the way I think I balance so many projects is just understanding, like, if I practice these things on my own, we don't need to be getting together every week. And I think when people say, that many projects is too much for me to be involved with, I think they think every project has to be full steam at all times, and that would kill anybody,
Well,
So the way I've learned to juggle multiple things is just compartmentalization, basically.
and that's really key. And one of the most incredible things about having multiple projects, it's the need, because even having a single project and doing that 100% of the time can also drive you absolutely out of your mind. If it wasn't for like having the radio show or doing some sort of like weird skits and stuff through like TikTok, I would just be band focused, and then that would completely, make me single focused in my personality, and that's just not who I am. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that you are setting these incredible boundaries, and understanding and keeping the expectations to that point. That for this project, you're more of a hired hand type of aspect, and for this project, you're more the filigree. That can add on to that extra, just that extra glitter or that extra sparkle, for those particular moments in those particular sets. Like, we were actually honored and blessed to see you with Blue Raspberry perform in a backyard, opening for Kimye Dawson. What type of experience was that like for you? Because it's these amazing artists like Kimye that really made it a lot easier for those that just wanted to go out there with your acoustic guitar and really show how to create a community that will love you and support you. What was it like going full circle for you?
It's fantastic. I mean, full circle for me, in that retrospect is, I mean, when I first started playing acoustic guitar and first started songwriting and first started becoming aware and part of this like folk punk scene, and like you have first wave, second wave, third wave. I don't know what we are at this point, but becoming familiar with all of the people of importance and all of the people who have made waves and made things easier, like him, like John Warm from Renstrike was actually one of those people for me. Like I listened to that band, and it was just like, I mean, I love what they've done. They've done so much good work, not only in the music community, in the DIY community, but also they work really, really hard in harm reduction and like just all of these really important things. And then I toured with John in 2020, and it was just like the coolest thing ever, because I love John's stuff, and it was such a blast being on the road with them. And come 3 years later, I play guitar in their band on that tour. They got one coming up. I'm not going to be on that, but I'm excited to continue in the future doing some stuff here and there with them. I've been printing all their merch, and just like
Mm-hmm.
people tell you don't meet your heroes, but I love my heroes. I love meeting my heroes, and I love my heroes becoming shaping out of the woodwork of people I already know. And when your heroes are the people you look up to and respect are your peers, it makes you feel a lot more enabled and a lot more capable. And I think putting people on a pedestal, it can be dangerous. And I think the better alternative to that is, meet your heroes. Absolutely be best friends, hang out with them on Sundays, and it'll make you feel a lot more capable. And I feel like people glorifying and putting people on pedestals is a really, really surefire way to feel limited in yourself. And Kimmy Dawson's amazing, John's amazing. I mean, everything that even Chesky was at the show. Chesky's amazing. Chesky's a living legend. Okay, Chesky's amazing, and Miles Boland's amazing, and Chesky was running door. Chesky wasn't even playing. It's just so many people of importance at that show, and everybody's there for the same reason, and it's all of it's full circle, because then somebody comes up to me and says, Justin, I playing guitar because I heard your music. Somebody says that to me, warms my heart, and then that person goes and opens for a bigger tour than I've ever been on. And it's the cycle continues of enabling creativity, encouraging just passion driven, just shoot for the sky, and I love it. I love it so much.
And see, that's what's so super interesting. And those, the don't meet the heroes thing, I love how you brought that up, because they're talking about how you can really idealize a hero or a human being, and forgetting that they are human, forgetting that they are attainable, and they come at it from that super marketing point of view. And of course, when you look at someone where they're just $1.01, it's different. But there is just something about your guys' particular community and the folk punk movement or re-movement, whatever y'all want to say. It's a wave, fifth wave, whatever. I call it folk punk head nod, where it's just people who you wouldn't necessarily expect are in that type of realm or that type of avenue, because they are a real person and they'll write about real things. It's not just a particular style, it's every single style that's out there. And it's a community that, even when when you're standing next to the greats, those that are the legends like Miles Boland or Chesky, you really are just standing with your friends. You know what I mean? It really is that type of acceptance. And as an artist themselves, it is something that I know that if I'm having a moment where I don't feel that connected to my art, or I feel like there's an issue or some type of alignment issue that's not quite there, I know no matter what, I can send Chesky a text message. He might not get back to me that day or whenever, but when he gets back to me, he's gonna be like, yo, you're good. You got through it. Everything's fine. And it's there. And it's good to have, because this industry is terrifying, and have to, especially now, deal with accountability so much, so as it should be. The stuff that, other rock legends or other hip hop legends got away with is gross. Make your community safe for everyone, bro. It's what, for no other reason, to who can afford it. This is what we give for free. It's you creating that art that makes people want to support you, so you can continue to make that art. That is the aspect of it, and it is something that I truly appreciate. You guys bringing that back into my life, to understand that I can actually just create to create, again, which is beautiful. What was that like for you coming through? Because it doesn't seem, unless you did hit that commercial aspect where people started telling you who you had to be, but it seems like you stayed pretty genuine throughout your entire 10-year career.
Yeah, 100%. I think that to a fault, actually, marketing wise, to a fault. Like I've always written music that is something that I think is cool and something that I like,
Mhm.
because I think that it's unsustainable to remain like an artist that is more worried about what other people are going to think than what you
Mhm.
think of it. Like, how can I be excited about something I'm making for somebody else? And like,
Right.
I think I try to stay true as much as I can to, you know, uh, what my true vision is, and like do different things. And like, I have a lot of different genres. I have a lot of different instrumentation I work with, and I have a lot of great plans in the future that are really different from what I'm doing now. But I'm only doing what I'm excited about, and
Mhm.
I just think that's the only way to go. I mean, I wouldn't be in this game if I wanted to be doing something for other people's pleasure that I didn't care about. I wouldn't be making music. Um,
Mm.
and since
Yeah.
I don't plan on stopping making music, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna just keep doing what I like, because it's something I think Brooke Pride told me this. I was on tour with Brooke Pridemore, and Brooke Pridemore uh, said I first and foremost make music for Brooke Pridemore. That's what they said,
Mhm.
and I'm like, you keep doing that, because that's exactly the way. I mean, I make music for Justin Arena, and I love that other people like it, but that's what I'm doing, and that's what makes me so happy to be contributing to other people's projects as well, because that's how I feel about my songwriting. And then, when I'm adding to something else, like if I'm writing banjo parts for Blue Raspberry, or I'm writing parts
Mhm.
for A Day Without Love, I really channel, okay, well, this is what he's trying to do, this is what they're trying to do, and then I can accentuate that. I can make that cooler, and like that's a different process. So I really, really thrive in a collaboration process. But when it comes to writing my own songs, I definitely am very selfishly like, this is what I want because I think this is cool.
And that's awesome, that you can do that. But now, how did we transition from songwriting and playing to now printing shirts and doing this, which is also super incredible. I personally have one of your I Pitbull Mo Pickle shirts, and the quality of shirt feels nice, and the print is awesome. How did we get into that as a now avenue?
So in 2018, I got some band shirts done from a company, and they weren't what I wanted. I had never invested in something like that before. I was 16, 17, whatever, 18, whatever it was at the time. I'm losing track because it's 100 degrees. But I was not experienced with merchandising at all. It was my first
Mhm.
kind of thing. And they came back. The person said they were going to be screen printed shirts. I got it back, and it was like some sort of transfer or vinyl. Like it didn't feel good, and I didn't know much, but I did know that I could do better. And I was
Right.
like, well, I either can just keep gambling,
Mhm.
or I can try to make my own thing. So, I've been looking for a visual art medium anyway, so let's try this, right? I kind of did some light research. I bought $100 offline, like one color station, one color press. I put it together in like an hour and a half or whatever with an Allen wrench. It was like a little tabletop one. And I started making my own t-shirts. I found a way to get a stencil from another shop, and just didn't know what I was doing, and just got a black gallon of ink and just, wholesaled shirts online and whatever else, whatever public wholesaler there is. And I made these shirts, and it was me like in a pocket like this, like the
Mhm.
front pocket, and it was me like kind of hanging out of it like that little cartoon I had my friend draw it. And on the back it said Justin Arena 2018, and those are the first shirts that I printed. Um, and I was really excited about it, and everybody around me was buying them. They were selling really good, and I was, you know, uh, excuse my language, but the those went over really well, and I was like, well, this is easy. Why is this so easy? Because like before, I had to go through this big other shop, and you know email the stuff over, and I was like, well, now I can just I could put whatever I want on this stuff. And my friends come up to me, you know, we're booking this DIY venue. We have dozens of bands coming through a weeknight shows. Like it was almost shows every night. It was crazy. And those people are just like, oh, you made those here? Can you make my band shirts? And I'm like, I guess I could. I never considered not doing it. It was just for me, you know? And so I made my friend's shirt axed. Like I didn't make any money off of it. I was like, give me $5 a shirt because that's how much it cost me to make them. And then you know, I just started making my friend's shirts, and then those started going, and all of a sudden I was making shirts for like 4 or 5 of my friends who were just cleaning out with them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could probably charge a little. I could probably be making, if I was making $1 for every shirt I printed for these people, then I could pay my rent. So like I charged $1 more. And then I put every single dollar I made into the next ink color, into the next, you know, heat gun, into the next heat press, whatever. And I built the business just making shirts for my friends. Now fast forward 3 years, things started kind of picking up. It became pocket change. It became just about paying the rent. And then COVID hit and nothing. All of my clientele, it was live events and dance. I had nothing. 2020 didn't print anything. Obviously everybody had their own things to deal with, but 2021 hit, and late in the year things picked up, and it was wildfire. It was just, you know, I went from doing, you know, not that much in comparison in 2021 to then I think we 13x'd in 2022. I think we made like 13 times the amount of sales. You know, throughout that time, I learned multicolor printing. I got a conveyor dryer. I got a bigger space. And in 2023, we're projected to do 7 times the amount we did in 2022, which is, so that's crazy. So it's spiraled out of control, but it's all been all insular. It's all been, all of the money that has been put into the project has been generated by the project. And Together Press, we're excited to announce that in a month, on October 1st, they're going to be moving into a brand new 4,000 square foot warehouse.
All right.
Where we're also going to be opening a community art center called Together Community Art Center. And we're going to have a 150 cap concert room in the front, and then we're going to have a back room where it's Together Press, and we're going to be able to run, for the first time in its entirety, more than one printing press. It's always been one press, and now we're going to have 3 printing presses. I have been able to hire 2 other printers, Maeve and Liam, and we have Joelle on artwork, and we have various groups of people coming in doing some cleanup stuff. So it's becoming a group effort, quickly becoming a large-scale multi-press operation. And by next year, we plan on incorporating even more fancy bells and whistles and be running the art center with community events like all ages concerts, vendor fairs.
Hopefully we're there on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Justin, I hope I didn't lose your train of thought. Go right ahead.
Oh, no, that's great. Yeah, no, we're hoping you guys there. We're really excited about everything. And, you know, it went from me in a basement with a 1-color press to we're about to have 3 6-color multicolor printing presses and a whole team of people making some cool stuff happen.
That's incredible. And it's, first of all, I also want to give credit. That was so smooth, Pete. Like that was like silk, like chocolate silk, just popped in there with the numbers. I just want to give you your,
kind of like a great piece of clothing. Justin's doing his thing, man, with the whole new warehouse. It's great to hear about these great news. I'm excited. That's big for you guys. That really is. And you said you started out from a basement. That's amazing, just to grow that far. It shows what happens when you keep at it. It really does.
Well, and not only that, but it really shows an incredible aspect when you do it the right way. There are a lot of people who can say they went from, you know, the basement to, you know, three presses, and they stepped on everyone's neck on the way up,
Right.
and they cut the throat of their best friend while they're
Ooh.
doing that.
Mhm.
You know, and those and unfortunately, due to the society that we live in, those stories are idolized. You know, oh, I got to be so cutthroat to move to the next level. But that's what I love about this. We get to tell that other story. We get to tell that story of being yourself is one of the most important things out there.
Mhm.
Going out there and putting out as much positivity and love is so super important, because you can sit back and it will pay back into you. You just have to stay genuine.
Yeah,
Nowhere
of
in
course.
Justin's story did they say they were not struggling.
Mhm. Of
Nowhere did they say that there wasn't hard times,
course.
but they has highlighted how being a good person has brought forth this, and how it can continue to move forward. You know, you talk about, you know, you can easily say, oh, I got 150 cap performance space, so, you know, expect high price ticketing or something like that. No, we want to put on some really incredible performances for the community and for the beauty of art itself.
Right.
And, you know, it will self-sustain itself, because there are a lot of people that want that for themselves as well. So that is really the story that I want everyone to know. You know, no throats had to be cut to find self-sustainability. And it has been that incredible journey. What has that journey really been like for you? Because in the culture we grow up in, we're told being us is probably one of the stupidest things you can possibly do. Having a career in art should never ever happen. Please make sure you have a fallback. You
Yep.
know, you're completely ridiculous to do this. You know, why are you still wearing the same clothes for the past week? What do you mean you've been in 6 different cities and, you know, haven't slept for two weeks? You're out creating art. You're just being irresponsible. You know, but you're able to maintain being yourself. When I every time I have met you, it's been with a handshake or a hug, and that's even from the first moment, and it's always like that. How are you able to maintain that? Because this industry is so gross, so disgusting. As Hunter S. Thompson has said, it's filled with pimps, prostitutes, liars, cheats, johns, and you know, people that get the game run on them. And there's a downside too. What is it like to be an actual good person while being in this disgusting industry?
Well, I think that people attract the kind of people that they are. So I think if you're in this for the wrong reasons, and I think if you're somebody who's not going to treat people with respect, or you know, you're going to end up working with people just like you. And I think that translates over to my life, because I look to work with people who are just like me. And that's people who want to see this stuff happen, not only for their local communities, but like the national, the international, the global community of traveling artists, of traveling musicians that just want to have community and experience their life in a genuine and an exciting way, you know? And me like being focused on running like all ages sober shows that are accessible in
Mhm.
every sense of the word, I think that, you know, I attract who are also into that idea. And I think that's like the most beautiful thing about it to me is like meeting people like shout out Will and Cecilia, Full Punk Dad, Blue Raspberry, shout out Miles Boland, uh, you know, those people, neither of those groups of people are from Massachusetts or Boston, but we found each other because we both want to do the same stuff. And, you know, the power of the internet, the power of connection through that way is really, really important, because I've met so many beautiful, amazing, kind hearted, like genuine people through this game, just who I would have never met otherwise. So, like, internet's a huge tool. Um, and, you know, as far as like the staying true to it thing, like there was this older role model of mine when I was a teenager in the music scene, that I'd like to share a quote from that I'm probably never gonna forget. And I was outside at this place called the Shop in Worcester, and it was like this blacksmith shop that had shows, and like there was this big pile of bananas that everybody took, and like it was just like this, it was like the first, like one of the first like DIY spaces I played in when I was like 15, 16. And this older person who was in the DIY community and was helping host a lot of shows and had a big following was outside, and we were talking with me and a friend of mine, and they went out of their way to make this statement saying that in order to be somebody who wields responsibility well, the best idea is to make being a good person the thing that's cool. When you are in a position of leadership authority, like running a space, like being a musician with a following, you need to wield that social currency with grace, and you need to. It's your responsibility to make being a good person the thing that's cool, because people are going to emulate your behavior and people are going to glorify your behavior. And if you're going to act like a hunk of junk, okay, and you're going to disrespect people, people are going to really emulate that. People are going to be like, well, I really like this artist and they treat people this way, so that must be what's cool, you know. And people love pointing fingers to their influences for their behavior.
Right.
And I want people to help start a house venue, or like I want people to like help their neighbor, you know, who's a senior citizen cross the street and be like, well, this is what Justin Arena would do. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want. I want to, you know, if anybody's gonna point to me for their behavior, I want it to be for really good stuff. And so I'm always gonna, you know, do what I think is right, not only for the sake of myself, but for the sake of any and all influence I may or may not have in the foreseeable future.
That is amazing, and it's really really interesting because I remember sitting outside the State House having a conversation with Stephen Hill, phenomenal sound guy, amazing bassist, amazing guitarist, um, and like he had just mixed us playing a festival like a couple weeks before, and I was like, yeah, man, it was busy. Things started to move in a good direction. He's like, yeah, man, people are really listening to what you're saying. And I said, yeah, now it's time for me to pay attention to what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Because before I could make that joke that I thought was going to be funny, but now, I remember when we released Live in Technicolor, and I say it on the show all the time, we released it and it happened. We released a song about revolution right before revolution actually happened. And I thought it was funny, in 2018, 2019 to say this was a song to burn a car to, until 2020 came through and I started to see it was playing in, places like Chad and Seattle and Atlanta. And you're like, oh my gosh, people are actually burning a car. There's a possibility that someone's burning a car to this. I need to pay better attention and I need to be a better human being because, look, I'm all for the destruction of property. I just don't want anyone to get hurt there, and I definitely I don't want to be the soundtrack of someone beaten, even if the beating is deserved. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you wield a responsibility as somebody who is making publicly accessible and open into interpretation art. And like, I think there's a giant responsibility if even one person hears it, right? So like, people think about a scale a lot. People are just like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to worry about it because nobody's listening to my band. But
Right.
like, how many artists do you know gain a large following like a very long time after they put out a record? Like how many artists do you know that they release 5, 6, 7, 8 records and never get big? It doesn't matter. It doesn't, because if one person hears it and you're telling people that it's okay to punch children or something, like, and then they go punch a child and it's your fault. It's like,
Yeah.
like, don't put anything into the world that you don't want to stand behind and be responsible for. Like, if you're going to release content that is artistically charged, that probably means that it's open to interpretation. If you're putting something out in public that is up to interpretation that you stand for, and somebody interprets that to do something evil or unjust, like, that's your influence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be famous for that. One person finding you on Bandcamp is all it takes. And like, no matter how many people are just like, oh, nobody listens to my band sucks. Like, somebody listens, and somebody's
Mm-hmm.
gonna hear it, and like that's your responsibility. Like, what are you gonna put into the world?
Well, and that's so super, and that's something actually I picked up from your guys' community and from that scene is I started to look at the audience differently. You know, I used to just release music just to release it out there, but then to see these people that are coming at some points from almost everywhere to see like a Chesky or to see like a Doom Scroll or to see a Rent Strike or you know to see you and Brooke Pridemore, you know, and them saying the words in particular and hearing the stories by standing at the door there, hearing the stories of the people's adventure just to be there and remembering the first time that they met y'all and just see it's that different level. I then started to look at streaming numbers differently. I started to look like, oh my gosh, I am happy if one person listened to one song once a day, because that person, out of the limited 24 hours that they had, they took 3 minutes to hang out with me. And that is dope. Like, time is so super precious, and every listener is so super important because you don't get that 3 minutes back. You can never get that 3 minutes back. And they spent that with you. So everyone who's taking time and listening to the show, and when you listen to it over and over and over, and again, just understand we are massively, massively appreciative of you guys wanting to come and hang out with us, and talk and build and grow with us. And that's something that really I saw more in the reality of being at the State House and working with incredible acts like yourself, you know, and like everyone else that came through. Thank you for that and for reminding me of that because I can get bitter, I can get a little salty, and you guys remind me that it is the good part of me that needs to go forward. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of the most important parts of creating art is just understanding like you don't need some massive scale or something to be of value. And like
Mm-hmm.
the things that people create are always going to be unique because there's only one of everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not that is a good productive piece of media art or whether or not it's not, you know, like that's determinant of, I suppose, art is subjective. People find value in everything, but I think that it's really up to somebody to like ask themselves like, I don't care if you don't feel political, I don't care if you're not writing political songs, like you need to, you know, I think it's the artist's responsibility to put something in the world that they think is going to make the world a better place. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people just don't feel that sense of responsibility because they don't think that, you know, oh, only famous people really need to watch their mouth or only famous people need to like have a sense of responsibility. But like I really do think like I've been shaped personally by a bunch of artists that nobody knows about. And like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a walking example of somebody who's been influenced their entire life by people who aren't famous. So like uh
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my responsibility and anybody's responsibility in my position, like no matter how big, no matter how small, to make the world a better place. And I think we together do that.
No, definitely. And you know, coming from someone who growing up say all the time, you know, my friends are in my playlist, not my playlist, on my in my tape deck or you know, in my CD player. Those were the only friends that were always there. And now growing up, becoming an artist and understanding that it isn't a job as much as it's 100% of a culture. It is amazing to know that my friends are actually in that playlist that I will go to every single day. If I need, you know, if I'm having that specific moment where life just gets too much, I know I can put on Swallowing Bruises. And there's someone who completely understands what I'm going through at this moment. And I don't feel so alone. But then also to be able to hit that person up and be like, you know, Miles, I'm having a rough one and you know just to get like a hug or a kickflip, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have, you know, and it's always a fantastic thing. And I just wanted again to seriously thank you because you'll help cultivate that energy. Also, I wonder where my Troll 2 shirt is, the one that talks about all I got was the overturning of Roe versus
Yeah.
Wade. I need it in like a super bright color of obnoxiousness. You know, make it as flamboyant as you want because you know me, I love to peak as much as possible. And I definitely need one of those, like super super. And also maybe we should talk about doing some physical B2B shirts, man. What do you think, P?
I think it's great on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made, who is a very demanding customer. His name is Easy BlueZ on Behind the Brand. Justin is with us. Go ahead, Easy. He was very happy right now.
You are so good. That was mwah, mwah. All right. Nike is studying what you just did there to figure out how they can market better. That was genius. Well done, sir. Well done. But no, I'm serious. I would love to, the next time you come through the New Haven aspect, let us know. I think P's got numbers. Make sure you get my number, and let's do some weirdness. Actually, I have a clothing line idea that you might be into. So we could talk about that as well. But yeah, and also one of the things that we are going to be starting to do is to do some booking stuff, and actually we're hoping to get kind of like a community space, or there's a couple of community spaces out here that we're looking to partner kind of with, to also teach kids how to run shows, teach the do-it-yourself aspect of it, but also teach showing up early for a show is important. Making sure you're ready to go on and have that quick changeover is important, not just for the audience but for the other acts there, because Bill, you need this community. You never want to be that person like, oh, I'm the Bill. Well, I guess it's going to be 45 minutes before I go on extra, and those different type of things. When you can do it in this positive light, you can use the proper nutrients, then hi.
Hey, I know you're on a roll, but just the idea just came in my head. Justin,
Yeah.
enough about us, enough about, this DIY type of thing. I want to know more about the creator yourself with all these shirts. Great designs, by the way. I know you partner with all these companies and all these bands and, different organizations, stuff like that. But what comes up with the idea process? Is it you? Is it a team? Because it's very well crafted, just how you put these ideas together on clothing.
With Together Press, actually, a lot of the time, we work with a lot of people's already formed artwork. And that's actually a lot of what I love about it is we're not necessarily most of the time a design team. We're a team that brings people's art to life. And part of our kind of mission statement is on the top of every invoice that we have. It says, we're excited to bring your vision to life. And that's exactly my favorite part about being a printmaker is somebody has an idea, somebody has this art. We get to work with new artists all the time and just bring it to life, make it the best it can be. And that's actually, I see myself less as a designer and more of a printmaker. So it's very, very cool to be able to constantly working with other artists. And now I have this ever-growing list of artists that we can work with. So if somebody's looking for a design, I can be like, well, what kind of style you're looking for? And they're like, oh, like a traditional style. I'm like, I have 5 people for that, So it's another way for us to usher in work to other artists in the community, because I'd rather send our artwork, outsource our artwork to other great art, like full-time art commission people who love making other people's vision come to life. So that way, once the finished product is done, we can get to work on doing what we do best, which is making that a reality. So I view myself less of a designer and less of a visual artist and more of a printmaker. And that's I love that we don't do a lot of design work, because then we can focus on bringing other people's really great work to life.
How many times have you exceeded expectations?
How many times have I exceeded expectations? We try to do it every time. We have 114 last time I checked reviews on Google, and they're all 5 stars. So that's a pretty good ratio. We did something the other day where somebody came in and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to college, and I need 4 shirts." He had the shirts already. He wanted to bring me the shirts. But he's like, "I want 4 shirts, and I want the Batman logo on all 4 of them." Oh
man.
And that's what he wanted. That's all he wanted.
Just the logo, nothing.
He just wants the Batman logo. He wanted it in that yellow one with the oval on two of them,
Yes.
Mhm.
and then he
Yes.
wanted the just the bat and black on two of them.
Okay.
Okay.
And he came in, he brought in the shirts, he brought in a USB to plug into my computer that had the Batman logos on them.
Oh wow, I
Uh,
came prepared.
yeah, and I was like, you know what? This is exactly the kind of thing that all other print shops that I know would have said no to.
Right.
Mm.
And I'm like, let's do this. Like you want 4 Batman shirts? Give me $100. Like,
Yeah.
like let's do it. You know, like I'm like doing lower quantity orders with screen printing is more expensive because
Mm.
you're still
Mhm.
you're paying for the labor no matter what, and that's why a bunch
Right.
of shops do 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50 minimums. But
Mhm.
Right.
if we can fit it in the schedule, I don't care if it's a small thing. Like I want to make people
Right.
happy, and like
Of course.
you know, these people get turned away from so many shops that need small quantity stuff, and I'm like, well, if it
That's
applies
crazy.
to our production, like let's make your dream come true. Like I don't care if it's 4 Batman shirts. It's sick. They came out awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And then that person left and immediately gave me a 5-star review and said Justin got me this thing and hey, and that's
Mhm.
what it's about. It's like I'm in music and I'm in creative full time for you know to make the world a better place and to help people. And like if people lose sight of helping people and like it becomes about
Mhm.
money, and if it's just about money, I'm gonna go work for like a construction firm or something, you know, like
Right.
I'm not in money and creativity to uh to not
Right.
help people. So like that's like one of my favorite things about exceeding expectations for people is like going somewhere. I want to be the one-stop shop. That's the the community art center goal, is to be the one-stop shop. You come here, you do your show, you get your merch hand delivered to your show.
Mhm.
You know, we find you a place to stay usually. You know, we want to be that one-stop shop for every artist. So I mean, I really love contributing in that way. And I'm not here to do a 4-star job. I'm here to do a 5-star job. I'm gonna full butt the whole 360, no matter what I'm doing. So
Preach. Preach.
I'm with that. I definitely am. I
I didn't
definitely
show up
am.
with my yeah. I didn't show up with my Minecraft shirt to
Yeah.
mess around.
Exactly. That's there you go. No, it's so super important, and I think it's absolutely amazing because again, we get to see, you know, P and I are both huge professional wrestling fans, and
Mhm.
it really is those that live their character and are just being themselves, just turned up to 11, are the ones the most successful. And we're starting to see that more and more in actual life. There's a lot less people pretending, and a lot more people just accepting themselves for who they are and how they want to move forward. And those are the people that I see are truly happy with their existence, whether it be the Island Restaurant out here in New Haven, or it be the print shop, One Stop Art Center, up in Mass with you. It's the incredible people that are there, and we are thankful to have you in our lives. But of course, they want to try to pull that Apollo curtain on us right about now. We're giving knowledge and love, so of course everyone's like, hey, make them pay for it. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you this opportunity to tell everyone how they can get in touch with you, and if you can just give them one take-home piece of advice on how to find that happy balance between the commerce and the art, that would be beautiful.
Well, people can find me on Instagram on all the social media. My Instagram is at Justin Arena 2023. That will be changing next year to Justin Arena 2024. And Facebook is Justin Arena. You can find the print shop at togetherpressma.com. We'll have a website soon for the Community Art Center as well. Instagram Together Press. And uh, I'm trying to think of your full question here. So that's where people can find me. I got a bunch of new
Mm-hmm.
records coming out. I'm putting out a record with my band Nervous at the end of the month. Putting out a record with my new band Justin Arena and the Math Team coming up in the fall.
Hmm.
We're working on a Chris OG and the Dopaminis record. I think Rent Strike is working on some awesome stuff that I'm hoping to be a part of some of the live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we're putting out some new Blue Raspberry stuff before too long.
Nice.
So it's all the musical projects. There's always going to be something coming out. I'm always touring around the country. I post all all of my tour dates on my socials. And I come to New Haven fairly often to play with Blue Raspberry, play with, as my solo act, Justin Arena, and I am findable. Google me. What was the next question?
Nah, you nailed it. You nailed it, man. You nailed it. You nailed it. And you did
some
a great
advice,
job.
Some sage-like advice.
I think you're dang.
It was dope.
I think he did. I think he gave advice. I don't know. This is like it was multiple.
What
more advice you have?
My advice, well, that was just how to find me. I feel like that's
right. Yeah.
I feel like that's apparent. But the advice, my advice, that applies to everybody. I've universal.
Should I also be true? Is that?
I think he was a little bit in and out. He was a little bit in and out. But
right. You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you perfectly. I think we got everybody perfectly now.
All right, here's my universal advice.
Nah, we're here. We're live. Okay. We're good. Are you with us, Easy?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. Justin, go right ahead.
we got 3 things.
All right.
We got be kind, be yourself, and work hard. That's it.
I like it.
One last thing before we go. Please send me some Blue Raspberry music so I can play it on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ BlueZ is in the building. Justin, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you, Preston. I appreciate you, EZ, and I will not have a shortage of music to send you after the promise.
Yes, excellent.
Thank you.
When the best of me is gone, I will be moving along. When I'm only a husk, when I'm no